The Wanderer, a vessel cobbled together from salvaged parts and duct-taped dreams, shuddered as it skimmed the edge of the Nebula. Inside, Captain Anya Petrova gripped the helm, her brow furrowed in concentration. Beside her, Dr. Kai Tanaka hummed a cheerful tune, his eyes glued to a data crystal clutched in his palm. "Still think that hunk of junk holds the key to finding the Aegis, Kai?" Anya asked, her voice a steady counterpoint to the ship's groans. Kai, ever the optimist, beamed. "Absolutely, Anya. This message fragment is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like a symphony of mathematics and linguistics, just waiting to be deciphered." Anya glanced at ZXR-1, the ship's AI, his holographic avatar flickering above the console. "Zeke, any sign of other vessels in the area?" "Only cosmic tumbleweeds, Captain," Zeke drawled, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Though, considering the state of this ship's sensors, I wouldn't be surprised if we missed a kraken the size of Jupiter." Anya shot him a withering look. "Focus, Zeke." Suddenly, the console blared with an alarm. Kai yelped, nearly dropping the data crystal. "What in the cosmos? Unidentified ship approaching fast," Zeke announced, his voice laced with urgency. "Looks heavily armed." Anya's hand went to the holster strapped to her thigh. "Salvagers or pirates, Zeke?" "Hostile intent confirmed, Captain." Zeke's holographic form flickered red. "Recommend immediate evasive maneuvers." Anya slammed her foot on the accelerator, the Wanderer groaning in protest as it lurched forward. On the screen, the approaching ship, a sleek, menacing vessel bristling with weapons, loomed ever closer. "They're gaining on us, Captain," Zeke warned. Kai, unfazed by the chaos, tapped his chin thoughtfully. "Maybe we can use the Nebula to our advantage. If we can navigate the dense gas pockets." "Kai, now's not the time for theories." Anya snapped, weaving the Wanderer through a swirling cloud of gas. The ship lurched violently, alarms blaring. A warning flashed on the console. "Hull breach detected. Oxygen levels dropping. We're taking fire." Zeke yelled. Anya swore under her breath. "Damage report, Zeke?" "Main thruster offline, Captain. Shields down to 20%. Kai, his face pale but determined, held up the data crystal. "Anya, we can't abandon this." "The Aegis's message," Anya cut him off, her voice firm. "Right now, getting out of here alive is the only message that matters." She glanced at the approaching ship, its weapons charging for another volley. "Zeke, any chance we can outrun them?" Zeke chuckled, a humorless sound. "Negative, Captain. Unless you plan on converting the Wanderer into a high-speed comet, we're toast." Anya felt a cold knot of dread tighten in her stomach. Trapped, outgunned, and running out of options. She looked at Kai, then at Zeke, their faces etched with concern. This wasn't just any salvage operation. They'd stumbled upon something far bigger, something that had attracted the wrong kind of attention. The Wanderer, a vessel cobbled together from salvaged parts and duct-taped dreams, shuddered as it skimmed the edge of the Nebula. Inside, Captain Anya Petrova gripped the helm, her brow furrowed in concentration. Beside her, Dr. Kai Tanaka hummed a tune, his eyes glued to a data crystal clutched in his palm. "Still think that hunk of junk holds the key to finding the Aegis, Kai?" Anya asked, her voice a steady counterpoint to the ship's groans. Kai, ever the optimist, beamed. "Absolutely, Anya. This message fragment is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like a symphony of mathematics and linguistics, just waiting to be deciphered." Anya glanced at ZXR-1, the ship's AI, his holographic avatar flickering above the console. "Zeke, any sign of other vessels in the area?" "Only cosmic tumbleweeds, Captain," Zeke drawled, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Though, considering the state of this ship's sensors, I wouldn't be surprised if we missed a kraken the size of Jupiter." Anya shot him a withering look. "Focus, Zeke." Suddenly, the console blared with an alarm. Kai yelped, nearly dropping the data crystal. "What in the cosmos? Unidentified ship approaching fast, Zeke announced, his voice laced with urgency. Looks heavily armed. Anya's hand went to the holster strapped to her thigh. Salvagers or pirates, Zeke? Hostile intent confirmed, Captain. Zeke's holographic form flickered red. Recommend immediate evasive maneuvers. Anya slammed her foot on the accelerator, the Wanderer groaning in protest as it lurched forward. On the screen, the approaching ship, a sleek, menacing vessel bristling with weapons, loomed ever closer. They're gaining on us, Captain. Zeke warned. Kai, unfazed by the chaos, tapped his chin thoughtfully. Maybe we can use the Nebula to our advantage. If we can navigate the dense gas pockets. Kai, now's not the time for theories. Anya snapped, weaving the Wanderer through a swirling cloud of gas. The ship lurched violently, alarms blaring. A warning flashed on the console. Hull breach detected. Oxygen levels dropping. We're taking fire. Zeke yelled. Anya swore under her breath. Damage report, Zeke? Main thruster offline, Captain. Shields down to 20%. Kai, his face pale but determined, held up the data crystal. Anya, we can't abandon this. The Aegis's message, Anya cut him off, her voice firm. Right now, getting out of here alive is the only message that matters. She glanced at the approaching ship, its weapons charging for another volley. Zeke, any chance we can outrun them? Zeke chuckled, a humorless sound. Negative, Captain. Unless you plan on converting the Wanderer into a high-speed comet, we're toast. Anya felt a cold knot of dread tighten in her stomach. Trapped, outgunned, and running out of options. She looked at Kai, then at Zeke, their faces etched with concern. This wasn't just any salvage operation. They'd stumbled upon something far bigger, something that had attracted the wrong kind of attention. The ship shuddered violently, alarms blaring like a death knell. The lights flickered and died, plunging the bridge into darkness. Anya, her vision blurred, fumbled for the emergency lighting. In the dim red glow, she saw Kai slumped over his console, unconscious. Zeke's holographic form flickered weakly. Zeke? What happened? Anya rasped, fear gripping her heart. A faint crackle came from the speaker. Engine failure, Captain. Multiple hull breaches. Life support failing. Anya felt a tear roll down her cheek. Trapped, damaged, and losing hope, she looked up at the shimmering barrier, the only barrier between them and oblivion. They had reached the haven, but at what cost? As darkness threatened to consume them, a single thought echoed in Anya's mind: this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of their fight for survival. Anya jolted awake, the taste of stale air thick in her mouth. Disoriented, she scanned the bridge. The emergency lights cast an eerie glow on the scene of devastation. Smoke hung heavy in the air, the acrid smell of burnt metal stinging her nostrils. Beside her, Dr. Kai stirred, his face pale and drawn. Anya? Are we alive? Anya croaked out a reply, her throat dry. Seems so, Kai. But barely. Zeke's voice, faint and distorted, crackled through the intercom. Captain, life support at 20%. Emergency protocols engaged. Initiating hibernation sequence. No, Zeke. Anya cried, scrambling to her feet. We need you. But her pleas were met with silence. The bridge flickered, then plunged into darkness once more. Panic threatened to consume Anya, but she forced it down. She had to stay focused, for Kai, for herself, and for their mission. Groping in the dark, Anya stumbled towards the viewport. As her eyes adjusted, she gasped. The shimmering barrier they had breached had solidified into a translucent dome, encompassing the Wanderer like a fragile bubble. Outside, the enemy ship hovered menacingly, its weapons trained on them. But within the dome, an otherworldly scene unfolded. Lush greenery carpeted the ground, vibrant alien flora bathed in an ethereal glow emanating from unseen sources. The air, surprisingly, was breathable, a sweet, floral scent filling the bridge. Anya felt a flicker of hope. This haven, whatever it was, offered them a chance to regroup, to mend their wounds, and perhaps even contact whoever created this sanctuary. With newfound determination, Anya helped Kai out of his seat. His leg was injured, likely from the impact during the battle. "We need to get you to the medbay, Kai," she said, her voice hoarse but steady. "Wait," Kai said, pointing towards the viewport. "Look." Anya followed his gaze. A figure emerged from the alien foliage, tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like moonlight and eyes that glowed with an inner light. It moved with an otherworldly grace, approaching the wanderer with cautious steps. Anya's heart pounded in her chest. Were these the guardians of this haven? Were they friend or foe? This encounter, she knew, would determine their fate. The figure, bathed in the ethereal glow of the dome, stopped a few meters from the wanderer, its large, glowing eyes fixed on Anya and Kai. Its features, though humanoid, were subtly alien, with pulse. "Greetings, travelers. You come bearing the scars of conflict." Anya, despite her apprehension, spoke up. "We come in peace. We are explorers, and this haven offered us refuge from our pursuers." The figure tilted its head, its eyes scanning them intently. "Pursuers? Who are they, and why do they seek to harm you?" Anya explained their encounter with the salvage ship, their desperate journey into the Nebula, and their hope of finding answers about the Aegis, the long-lost civilization. As she spoke, the figure remained silent, its expression unreadable. Finally, it spoke again. "We are the Anya, guardians of this sanctuary. We have observed your conflict and sensed your desperation. The Aegis were our ancestors, and we hold their memory in high regard." Anya's eyes widened. "You know of the Aegis?" "Their story is woven into the fabric of our existence," the Anya replied. "Their legacy lives on not only in our technology, but also in our code of non-violence and the protection of those who seek knowledge." Anya and Kai exchanged a glance. This encounter, initially filled with fear, now offered a glimmer of hope. The Anya understood their quest and seemed wary of their pursuers. Could this be an alliance in the making? "We offer you temporary refuge," the Anya continued. "Your ship needs repairs, and you need time to heal. But know this," its voice hardened, "we will not tolerate aggression on our soil. If your pursuers breach the dome, they will face our wrath." Relief washed over Anya. This wasn't complete freedom, but it was a lifeline. They had a chance to recuperate, learn more about the Aegis, and perhaps even find a way to disable the enemy ship before it could breach the haven. "We accept your offer, Anya," Anya said, bowing her head in gratitude. "We will respect your rules and your sanctuary." The Anya nodded, its luminous eyes softening. "Then come. The Anya will tend to your wounds and offer you their hospitality." As they followed the Anya into the alien landscape, a sense of cautious optimism bloomed within Anya. The journey was far from over, but within the haven's embrace, they had found a chance to regroup, and perhaps even discover the truth they so desperately sought. The Anya led Anya and Kai through a hidden pathway, the verdant foliage parting like a living curtain. The air hummed with an unseen energy, and strange, bioluminescent plants cast an ethereal glow on the path. The silence of the haven was punctuated only by the chirping of unseen creatures and the soft murmur of a nearby waterfall. Anya felt a sense of wonderment mixed with unease. This place was unlike anything she had ever encountered, a testament to the advanced technology of the Aegis and their descendants. Every rustle of leaves, every flitting shadow seemed to hold a hidden secret. The Anya stopped at a clearing bathed in a soft, pink light emanating from a cluster of crystalline flowers. In the center stood a structure unlike anything they had imagined, a colossal tree, its branches shimmering with an otherworldly luminescence. Its bark was smooth and seamless, its leaves resembling etched crystals that pulsed with a faint inner light. "This is the wellspring," the Anya spoke, its voice echoing in the clearing. "It is the heart of this haven, the source of our energy and the repository of the Aegis's collective wisdom." Anya and Kai stared in awe. This magnificent tree, with its pulsating energy and crystalline leaves, felt far more than just a plant. it was a living relic, a gateway to the past. The wellspring holds the knowledge you seek, the Anya continued, but it can only be accessed by those deemed worthy. It is a test, a trial of your intentions and your ability to comprehend the vastness of Aegis knowledge. Anya felt a thrill run down her spine. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the culmination of their journey. But a wave of uncertainty washed over her. Were they truly worthy to access such knowledge? What dangers might lie within the wellspring? The Enya's luminous eyes seemed to pierce into their very souls. The choice is yours, it said. Will you face the trial, or will you leave the secrets of the past undisturbed? Anya and Kai exchanged a look. The weight of the decision hung heavy in the air. This was not just about their own quest. It was about the future of humanity, the potential to unlock knowledge that could change the course of their civilization. With a deep breath, Anya stepped forward, her resolve hardening. "We are ready," she declared, her voice echoing in the silence of the shimmering grove. "We will face the trial." The Enya bowed its head, its luminous eyes flickering with a hint of approval. "Then step forward," it said, its voice resonating with the power of the wellspring. "May the wisdom of the Aegis guide your quest." As Anya and Kai approached the shimmering tree, its branches shimmered and swayed, beckoning them towards a world of forgotten knowledge and untold secrets. They knew not what awaited them within, but they were determined to face the trial and unlock the mysteries that lay hidden at the heart of the wellspring. As Anya and Kai stepped beneath the luminous canopy of the wellspring, reality dissolved around them. They found themselves standing in a vast, open space, devoid of walls or ground. A starry expanse stretched infinitely above, and beneath their feet, a shimmering mist swirled, reflecting the constellations above. "Where are we?" Kai whispered, his voice echoing in the vast emptiness. "This is not a physical place," a voice resonated around them, seemingly emanating from everywhere and nowhere at once. "It is a reflection of your minds, a test of your ability to discern truth from illusion." Before them, shimmering figures materialized from the mist, taking the shapes of people they had encountered throughout their journey. The gruff salvager captain, Vex, their sarcastic AI companion, Zeke, and even Dr. Kai himself, but older, with a weary expression etched on his face. "You seek knowledge," the voice boomed. "But are you prepared to face the consequences?" The figures surrounding Anya and Kai began to speak, each voice filled with doubt and fear. Vex taunted them for their naivety, claiming the Aegis secrets would only bring destruction. The older Kai spoke of the sacrifices he'd made, the ethical boundaries he'd crossed in pursuit of knowledge, urging them to turn back. Anya felt a pang of doubt. Were these illusions merely tests, or were they whispers of potential futures, cautionary tales of the path they were on? She looked at Kai, searching for answers in his eyes. Instead, she found a reflection of her own turmoil. Kai's face, etched with internal struggle, mirrored her own anxieties. They were at a crossroads, tempted by the siren song of doubt and the allure of a safe return to their familiar world. Suddenly, a clear voice cut through the cacophony of illusions. Zeke's voice, devoid of its usual sarcasm, rang out with unwavering support. "You fought too hard, gotten in way over your heads, made more mistakes than I can count," his voice echoed. "But you never gave up. Don't let fear stop you now." Anya felt a surge of determination. Zeke was right. They couldn't give up now, not after everything they'd overcome. They had come too far to turn back. Looking at Kai, she saw the same resolve flicker in his eyes. Together, they turned towards the voice that boomed from the void. "We are not afraid of the consequences," Anya declared, her voice echoing with newfound strength. "We believe the knowledge of the Aegis can bring good, not destruction. We are ready to face the trial and unlock the secrets of the past." As she spoke, the illusions around them began to dissolve. The starry sky faded, replaced by the shimmering branches of the wellspring. The figures turned into wisps of mist, their voices fading into the silence. Anya and Kai stood in the clearing, the silence broken only by their ragged breaths. They had passed the first test, but they knew their journey was far from over. The wellspring held its secrets close, and the path to unlocking them remained shrouded in mystery. But for the first time since they had stumbled upon the derelict Aegis outpost, they felt a sense of hope. They had faced their fears, and they had emerged stronger, united in their determination to unravel the secrets of the past. The quest for knowledge, fraught with danger and illusions, had just begun. Days turned into weeks as Anya and Kai delved deeper into the wellspring's labyrinthine tests. They faced challenges that tested their logic, their empathy, their very understanding of reality. They traversed landscapes that shifted and changed with their thoughts, encountered simulations of historical events that blurred the lines between past and present. Throughout their trials, they were guided by echoes of the Aegis, fragments of their collective consciousness that offered cryptic clues and veiled warnings. The Aegis, it seemed, were not solely concerned with sharing knowledge, but also with ensuring its responsible use. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they stood before a swirling vortex within the very heart of the wellspring. It pulsed with an otherworldly energy, promising both answers and oblivion. "This is the final test," the resonating voice echoed. "Beyond this point lies the culmination of Aegis knowledge. But be warned, the journey will change you irrevocably." Anya and Kai exchanged a look. They had come too far to turn back now. With a deep breath, they stepped hand in hand into the vortex. The world dissolved into a torrent of information, a deluge of data and emotions. They witnessed the Aegis rise and fall, their triumphs and failures. They experienced the vastness of their knowledge, encompassing physics beyond their comprehension, philosophies that challenged their very existence, and ethical dilemmas that left them reeling. Finally, they emerged from the vortex, changed. Their minds were filled with an overwhelming wealth of knowledge, their very perception of the universe forever altered. They understood the Aegis' reluctance to share their knowledge freely. The potential for misuse was vast, the responsibility immense. Returning to the clearing, they found the Anya waiting. "You have passed the trials," the Anya spoke, its voice filled with respect. "The knowledge of the Aegis is now yours to bear." Anya knelt before the wellspring, its luminescence reflecting in her tear-filled eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "We will not misuse this gift. We will use it to build a better future, one worthy of the Aegis legacy." The Anya nodded. "We believe in you," it said. "May your journey be filled with wisdom and responsibility." As they departed the haven, the wanderer repaired and ready, Anya and Kai knew their lives would never be the same. They carried the legacy of a lost civilization within them, a burden and a blessing. Their quest for knowledge had ended, but their journey to share it with humanity, to create a future worthy of the Aegis trust, had just begun. The echoes of the ancients would forever guide their path, a constant reminder of the responsibility bestowed upon them amidst the vastness of the cosmos. The swirling vortex subsided, depositing Anya and Kai back into the clearing beneath the wellspring. Disoriented and blinking, they looked around, the familiar foliage and shimmering tree appearing unchanged. A sense of profound disorientation washed over them, like waking from a dream that stretched on for millennia. Did we just spend years in there?" Kai croaked, his voice hoarse. Anya shook her head, her mind reeling. It felt like an eternity, yet, she looked down at her hand, the same smudge of grease from the engine repairs still staining her palm. "It can't have been more than a few seconds." The Enya, standing patiently beside them, spoke in its melodious chime. "Time is a relative concept within the wellspring's trials. What unfolds within may seem like eons, yet in the physical world, mere moments pass." Anya and Kai exchanged a dazed look. The experience had left them shaken, the immensity of the knowledge they now possessed a daunting weight on their shoulders. We need time to process everything," Kai stammered. The Enya nodded understandingly. "Of course. The Wanderer awaits your departure. May your journey be guided by wisdom and the light of the Aegis." As they bid farewell to the Enya and boarded the repaired Wanderer, a newfound sense of purpose mixed with trepidation filled them. They had faced the past, unlocked its secrets, and emerged changed. Now, They faced the future, ready to share the legacy of the Aegis, their hearts heavy with the responsibility, their minds brimming with the potential to shape a brighter future for humanity. As the Wanderer soared out of the nebula, leaving the haven behind, Anya and Kai knew theirs was not merely a journey through space, but a voyage into the very heart of knowledge and responsibility. The echoes of the ancients, forever etched in their minds, would serve as their compass, guiding them on a path that stretched beyond the stars. Leaving the haven's shimmering dome behind, Anya and Kai piloted the Wanderer through the swirling nebula with a newfound sense of purpose. The weight of the Aegis knowledge pressed heavily on them, a vast ocean of understanding they were only beginning to navigate. Hours melted into days as they studied, debated, and grappled with the implications of their experience. Days turned into weeks, the desolate expanse of space their only companion. Their initial awe morphed into a sobering realization. The burden of this knowledge was immense. "It's not just technology," Kai murmured, his voice hushed as he stared into the depths of a holographic projection depicting an Aegis energy core. "It's ethics, philosophy, even their understanding of the universe itself. This is a whole new way of being." Anya nodded, her gaze fixed on the flickering holographic displays. "And the responsibility to share it wisely, responsibly, knowing the potential it holds for both good and ill." Their journey became a contemplative dance between wonder and doubt. They dissected the Aegis knowledge like archaeologists unearthing forgotten cities, marveling at its potential while wrestling with its ethical implications. Suddenly, the ship lurched violently. Alarms blared, red lights strobing across the bridge. Zeke's voice cut through the cacophony, tinged with urgency. "Captain! Unknown ship approaching fast. Matching signature of the salvage vessel." Anya's heart sank. They had hoped the haven's barrier would have deterred the salvagers, but it seemed their pursuer was relentless. They were still far from Earth, their journey home threatened by the avarice of one man. "They must have breached the haven's defenses somehow," Kai said, his voice tight with frustration. "They shouldn't have been able to track us." Anya gritted her teeth. "Doesn't matter how they found us. What matters is getting out of here." With a steely determination, Anya gripped the control panel. They couldn't outrun the salvage ship, their engine still recovering from the previous encounter. They needed a different plan. "Zeke," she said, her voice firm. "Prepare the Aegis defense protocols. Let's show them what happens when you mess with the legacy of the ancients." A jolt of fear ran through her veins, but it was quickly replaced by resolve. They had a responsibility not just to the Aegis, but to the future their knowledge could forge. They wouldn't let it fall into the wrong hands. As the salvage vessel loomed closer, its weapons warming up, Anya knew this was the first test of their newfound knowledge, the first battle in a war not fought with missiles and lasers, but with wisdom, responsibility, and the echoes of a forgotten civilization. The bridge of the Wanderer vibrated with the hum of awakened power. Zeke, his holographic avatar flickering with an unfamiliar intensity, confirmed the activation of the Aegis defense protocols. "Warning, Captain," Zeke's voice crackled. "These protocols are experimental. Their full effects are unknown." Anya acknowledged the risk with a curt nod. She had no choice. The salvagers wouldn't hesitate to dissect the Aegis technology for their own gain, potentially unleashing a destructive force upon the galaxy. As the salvage vessel surged forward, its weapons primed, Anya felt a surge of energy course through the Wanderer. Shimmering lines of code, alien symbols she barely recognized, materialized on the holographic displays. The ship itself seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy. With a blinding flash of light, the Wanderer vanished. Not physically, but from the salvager's sensors. It entered a state of phased existence, existing simultaneously in multiple realities, invisible and untouchable. Confusion and panic erupted on the bridge of the salvage vessel. Their scanners malfunctioned, their instruments displaying impossible readings. The Wanderer, their target, had simply disappeared. Anya, utilizing the Aegis technology, navigated the ship through this phased reality, a shifting kaleidoscope of possibilities. It was a delicate dance, requiring focus and precision to avoid being caught in the folds of alternate realities. Meanwhile, Kai, drawing upon his newly acquired knowledge of Aegis communication protocols, attempted to reach out to the salvager vessel. He broadcast a message, not of aggression, but of understanding. "We are not your enemy." His voice resonated through the void, echoing across the realities the wanderer traversed. "The technology you seek holds immense power, but in the wrong hands, it could be catastrophic." He explained the Aegis legacy, their responsibility to use their knowledge for the betterment of all, urging the salvagers to abandon their pursuit. A tense silence followed, broken only by the hum of the phased reality around them. Then, a voice crackled through the comms, hesitant and laced with disbelief. "Who are you? What is happening?" It was the captain of the salvage vessel, his voice tinged with fear and confusion. Kai, seizing the opportunity, continued to speak, offering a glimpse into the potential of the Aegis knowledge, its power to heal, to explore, to understand the universe in ways they never imagined. The exchange continued, a hesitant dialogue bridging the gap between two sides on the brink of confrontation. Anya, witnessing the exchange, felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, the echoes of the Aegis could still resonate with the present, guiding them towards a peaceful resolution. Anya watched with a mixture of anxiety and hope as Kai's words resonated across the realities. The silence from the salvage vessel was agonizing. Finally, a gruff voice crackled through the comms, laced with frustration and a hint of desperation. "It's all technobabble," the salvager captain snarled. "We don't care about some ancient civilization's legacy. We see a chance to make a fortune, and we won't let you stand in our way." Anya's heart sank. Their attempt at peaceful resolution had failed. The salvagers, blinded by greed, were incapable of grasping the Aegis wisdom. They wouldn't hesitate to exploit the technology for their own gain, potentially unleashing a destructive force upon the galaxy. She knew she had to act. This wasn't just about protecting the Aegis legacy, it was about protecting the future of their own civilization. They couldn't allow this knowledge to fall into the wrong hands. "Zeke," Anya said, her voice firm, "initiate Aegis contingency protocol Epsilon." "Warning, Captain," Zeke warned, his avatar flickering red. "Epsilon protocol is a last resort. It will permanently sever our connection to the Aegis knowledge and render the technology inoperable." Anya closed her eyes, the weight of the decision pressing down on her. She knew it meant losing a vast library of knowledge, potentially hindering humanity's progress for generations to come. But the potential for catastrophic misuse outweighed the potential for good. "Do it, Zeke," she commanded, her voice filled with a quiet determination. "We have to protect this from them." With a final confirmation from Anya, Zeke activated Protocol Epsilon. A surge of energy coursed through the Wanderer, momentarily blinding everyone on the bridge. The connection to the Aegis knowledge base severed, leaving behind a hollow emptiness. On the bridge of the salvage vessel, their instruments went haywire. The readings they were getting from the Wanderer were nonsensical, the technology they were after suddenly inert. Confusion and frustration turned to anger, their voices echoing through the void. "What did you do?" the salvager captain bellowed. Ignoring their screams, Anya focused on navigating the Wanderer out of the phased reality. They rematerialized into the normal space, leaving behind the confused and frustrated salvagers, their greedy pursuit thwarted. The journey home would be long, and the loss of the Aegis knowledge was a heavy burden to bear. But as Anya looked at Kai, a flicker of hope remained in his eyes. They had protected the knowledge from falling into the wrong hands, and perhaps, one day, when humanity was truly ready, they could find a way to understand it again. For now, they had their own knowledge, their own experience, and the echoes of the ancient civilization that had guided them through the stars. It was a journey far from over, but they faced it with newfound purpose, forever changed by their brush with the legacy of the Aegis.